Hi, I'm Pastor Tyler from Hoosick Valley Community Church. Growing at Home is a new series that we hope will deepen your understanding about the story of God, grow your faith while we can't gather together, and give families tools to set God's good news deep in the hearts of the parents so they can teach it to their children. Each episode will wrestle with some hard questions that people have, especially in these trying times. And it will also include resource links for a YouTube video, a worship song, and other resources so that you can deepen your faith and grow at home. Who is Jesus anyway? I think this is one of those questions that we're really quick to give just a Sunday school answer to. And there's nothing wrong with those answers. And actually the points I'm going to roll out here are actually mostly those kinds of answers. But I think the question here, who is Jesus anyway, really gets at something else, right? What is it in our lives that we actually look to understand how to live? And the Bible gives us four eyewitness accounts of the life of this person, Jesus. And it matters because in those accounts, not only do we see how to respond to criticism, not only do we see how to take care of those around you, especially those in need, not only do we understand how to read much of what happens in the Old Testament, but we also get this first-hand account of that one person that the Bible shows came to fix everything to this point that's been broken. So let's look at this Jesus. Who is he? Well, first, Jesus is God. John chapter 8, verse 58 says this, Jesus said to them, I assure you, before Abraham was, I am. And in the list of things that Jesus could say, right, this is one of those that just, that doesn't make any sense. Mixing up things all over the place. Before Abraham was, I am. Until you go back and you read in the Bible about this character that wants to be known by the title, I am. And this character that wants to be known by that title is none other than God himself. He's not just showing himself to people so that he can rake in all of their praise. He's showing himself to people because he cares about them. He made them for a reason and a purpose. He wants us to be in a relationship with him. And he wants us to know him. And so he meets Moses on the top of a mountain in the middle of a burning bush. And he says, I am who I am. So when Jesus in John chapter 8 says, before Abraham was, I am, he's saying, hey, you remember that burning bush? I was there. I was in the burning bush. Right? And before Abraham was even made, I was there too. Jesus saying, I am God, and I have always been. So who is Jesus, right? Jesus is God. Jesus is also a human. He's actually the perfect human. In Hebrews chapter 4, verse 15, it says, "For we do not have a high priest who is unable to sympathize with our weaknesses, but one who has been tested in every way as we are, yet without sin." So who is Jesus? He is a human who's able to go to God, because where you and I fail, Jesus didn't. Now, Jesus is a failure by a lot of our standards for what it means to be a failure. He doesn't do all the things that a successful person would do in our culture. But what he does do is greater than anything that you and I can accomplish. Because Jesus being God and Jesus being human makes it so that this Jesus can also be that promised seed from Genesis chapter 3 that would crush the serpent's head. It makes it so Jesus can be the one to take on all of the difficulties and the suffering and the pain in the world, take it all in himself, and die on the cross. Galatians chapter 3 verse 16 tells us that now the promises were spoken to Abraham and to his seed. He does not say and to seeds as though referring to many, but and to your seed, referring to one who is Christ. Right? Jesus is the one who's crushing the head of the serpent. Jesus is the one who, when in the garden, knowing that the Father was calling him to die, said, "God, if there's any way, let this cup pass from me, but not my will, yours be done." And instead of taking what he wanted and going the way of Adam and Eve and going the way of the serpent, this man, this God, Jesus, took death. And then 3 days later, he rose again. So that if we trust him, we can live with him forever.